So, hello and welcome back to another episode of our City of Mist campaign, The Reaper Soldiers. It has been a little while, but I am definitely excited to get back into our Victorian-era detective noir roleplay crazy game that we've been playing. And I know last time we were here, it was a while ago, so kind of a refresher. We split up a little bit. Blanche had a party of potential investors for her brother's new camera thing that he's been dealing with, and that was interesting. She saw a lot more of her brother than she probably wanted to in those films. And they ended up causing one of the gentlemen there to have a heart attack because he thought a train was about to burst through the wall. So that was, fun and exciting for her, but they got it all cleared up, and I'm sure there's definitely no hard feelings or anything coming from that group. The rest of you decided to head back into the slums, even after being warned not to return, only to see that it had been cordoned off. A few constables were at the edge of town warning people, do not go in there, it's pure war. They were willing to go in and try to find your family members, assuming the only reason you're going in there is because you live here. And you found a way to sneak past them, only to find a body being dropped on top of you from a sniper shot across the street. You avoided that, you made your way through some buildings, you came across a group of strange men that seemed to not really talk and move very methodically together, and that's who it seemed that this group called the Sova was fighting against, the group that had warned you to not come back again. Somehow, William was able to stop all the fighting with his words or with his fierceness. It's hard to tell, but yeah, he was able to stop the fighting, and you were able to have a conversation with the leader of the Sova, a woman you've met before, Yasmin Diamond, and she gave you a little bit more information about what was happening. You also learned that one of the members of the Sova, a young boy named Johan, was unfortunately the one to have caused the whole sickness epidemic by killing that man and shoving him down in the well. He had explained that he'd witnessed this man tear out the throat of another man a few days prior and killed him because he didn't really know what he was and knew he was a danger. And Yasmin was definitely pissed about this. There's probably something, some punishment that he has to deal with. But she also started talking to you about Samuel. Samuel's this individual that has been in the slums for a long time, and while she doesn't know how, she knows that people have died, including her father and her husband. She's seen them die, but then she's seen them as if they had never died, walking but not acting like themselves. And you witnessed some of this revival, or whatever you want to call it, as one of the Sova soldiers had been shot laying on the street and appeared to stand up, missing part of his head, turn around and begin to walk with that group of other men. She told you a bit more about this individual they call the Night Owl, this strange man that lived in a church at the edge of town and would try to help people, keep an eye on things, and was often seen fighting against the soldiers of Samuel. But a situation occurred where he was trapped, or she couldn't remember the exact details, but something happened where Samuel was able to capture this individual, and that's when she presented you with something that she was able to retrieve from him, a leather badge, very similar to the ones you all have, with the stamp of the order and the name Marin de Mesnildo. So with that information, you almost killed a cop and then saved a cop. At the same time, there was a cop there taking notes, and you didn't want him doing that, so you tried to knock the notebook out of his hand, almost shoving the pen into his chest, but narrowly avoiding that. But you did save his life from being shot to begin with, so Constable Stuart Scully will certainly appreciate that, but still, he did overhear that conversation, so who knows what he'll be able to recall. So we are going to start tonight back at the pit. It's later in Monday evening. The fireplace is roaring. You hear the loud crackle of the garbage fire outside. You're all sitting around the table with your various drinks, teas, whiskey, whatever you might have. And there's someone else in the room with you. Someone I don't think you've all met. I know most of you have, but Talia Justice is here, and she's pacing. She's been pacing for a while. You've given her your report about the body in the well, the information that Johan had given you, the confirmation that the body in the well was this Nadiv person that you had gone to the apartment to previously, and you've been telling her a bit more about Samuel. You've shown her the information you'd given about the name Marin de Mesnildo. You didn't have the badge. You left that with Yasmin, but you gave her as much information, and she's been pacing back, just kind of thinking. Every once in a while, when she walks by the fireplace, you can see her almost pull the smoke into her hand and spin it around, almost a corkscrew, kind of dragging it across her nose and taking a deep breath, maybe trying to lower the strong scent of the garbage outside. She turns to face you all at the table and looks across, still seeing some fairly new faces. You can tell she's hesitant and careful with her words. So you say this Yasmin individual had possession of the badge and seemed to know the whereabouts of, well, this keeper. Is that correct?
Yep.
Did it seem that she was aware of any other reason he was there? Anything else she had witnessed him doing?
I don't remember.
No, that's good. Frederica, hand me that. And Frederica's over in the corner. You can tell he's very restrained right now. This is the person he's normally been writing the letters to, and he's still kind of a kid, and again, he's still a sleeper, so he deals with weird stuff, but there's definitely a strong presence that's making him feel a bit, I have to be the best that I can be. And he hands her this fairly large book. She places it down. Many years ago, I guess not many. She looks around the table, seeing some faces older than others.
Hey now.
The Keepers were formed. They were, well, the official front line for the Order. They had tasked one member of the Order to go within each district to keep an eye on things, to report back any strange awakenings or the workings of those of us that are able to do more than the general public. But over time, and certainly more recently, the amount of those awakened has just grown. Yourselves included within this. It seems that whatever it is that allows us these gifts that we all have is growing in power, and so the keepers were told to watch. It seems that Keeper Marin was not willing to do so. You see, we have a problem. The Order has many members in it, but we are only able to see those that are touched from the beyond. As yourselves, there are certain individuals within our ranks that are, you could say, notified when someone newly awakens with these gifts. However, if someone is touched by a being within, we're not notified of such things. And your mention of these creatures that the description you gave me sounds very much like foul creatures of the night. Both the one in the well and these men returning from the dead. We have no way of knowing about all of them. She goes to sit down and she takes a deep breath. I fear that there is something greater here, and you all have seen something that, well, few have. You have information on an individual that even less seem to know about. So we have a job for you. We need you to return to Keeper Marin's SafeHouse to see anything he has on this Samuel. Any information we have about where he came from, how many might be in his ranks, where Samuel might be living, working, existing, if Samuel's even his real name, anything we can. If he has the information there, we must get it. And if we can find out if the Keeper is still alive, if he's been taken somewhere, we need to return him to our ranks. The slums are completely cordoned off. I am receiving daily reports that more and more constables are beginning to blockade, creating a wall on every main street and entrance. The city's all but given up on that district. And from what you're telling me, there are people there that are not worthy to be given up upon. There are still families that live there. There are still civilians that are being taken advantage of. It is our duty to fight against the darkness, to be the light when there is none. And I know that some of you have not been here long. She looks over to Eric and Georgie. And I know you have so many questions about yourself. And I promise you, when the time is right, we will help you answer those questions. But the situation is greater than ourselves. She pushes the folder over to you, and it's open to a page about Keeper Marin. It has his basic information. He wasn't that big of a guy, about 5'6", 180 pounds, curly, brown hair, probably Italian, something like that. He has been with the Order, from what you can tell, for about 35 years, and had joined when he was, in his 20s. So he would presumably be in his mid to late 50s. They give details about the White Chapel. It is a small church on the edge of the western slums. active, up until the last reports they received from him. They're not sure of its current status, and it has details about his kind of secret lair within it, located in the steeple area. Up on the top, there's a small dome on the top of the building that, well, he has created a kind of lock switch that you have to play certain notes on the organ to unlock, to allow access to it. It notes that he was a very skilled inventor, an engineer. He was a bit strange, a bit quirky, but his personality seemed to be very community focused. She stands up again and kind of walks around. We must be careful. There are reports that exist out there about some of you that have had encounters with our other members of the Met, and I have done what I can to focus their attention elsewhere. But we need to work more in the shadows. I know some of you are able to change your face. That is great. Use that. Make yourself strangers, unknown. Don't allow this Samuel individual to know that you are looking into him. Certainly do not let him know who you work for. And perhaps, she looks around the pit, it may be time to find a new place to go. Far too many situations have happened here at this office. It's only a matter of time until prying eyes see something they shouldn't. I will see what I can find for you. But I fear we should not see each other face to face until this is complete. If you have reports, use Frederic. He has all the information that you might need. I appreciate the work you're doing, and I know you'll be able to handle this task. She kind of stands up, straightens herself, goes over and leans down to whisper something to Frederic, and then turns to begin to walk out. Do any of you say anything or try to stop her, or do you just let her go?
I'm gonna just let her go myself.
I'm gonna lean over to whoever's closest to me and say, "Who is that?" She seems important. Maybe we should listen. It's probably just the mic, the phase on just right there. It's like, is she important? I mean, do we have to listen? I've never actually met her, so I have no idea.
Am I the only one who's actually like the people that are here right now? Am I the only one who's like ever actually slightly met her?
No, you, Blanche, and Mike had gone to her office before, but she would have introduced herself and all that before. We kind of came in mid-conversation, so there would have been the introductions. I'm your handler, that kind of conversation.
Okay.
So yeah, she is your handler, Spoon. She's the one that basically has been tasking you, and all the reports are sent to her. But she is a chief inspector for the Met, the only female. There's 3 total chief inspectors, and yeah, she was not very happy with you all the last time. She's the one that wanted your hair. That's her.
Yo, what's with the hair thing? I don't know.
You asking her?
No.
So
I'm just gonna continue eating my figs and drinking whiskey.
You have this folder that kind of references the keepers and specifically his profile. Do you have any specific information you might be looking for with this with the information you have here.
I mean, it said it had a. There was a lock on the place, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
gives the specific keys to play to unlock the
Oh, well.
secret area.
Mystery solved.
Yeah, and it gives you the location of the church. And actually, if you flip through it, you'll come across one that Mike and William will recognize, the place in the industrial area, the little underground bar that you had gone to with that bomber guy. He's referenced in here as well. That's another one of the order safe houses.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. That guy has a name, and I probably know it. I don't know it. I thought I had written it down, but I didn't write it down. Oh well.
Aside from the locks, is there any other security measures we need to be aware of so we don't set off any booby traps or self-destruct switches or anything fun like that?
Why don't you give me an investigate check just to see how much of that information they have listed here.
Here
Alright.
comes the rolls. It's all
Yep.
over now.
Let's see. What am I going to throw in on this? Elaborate planner, sure. Perceptive. And I think that'll probably be it.
Okay.
Those two.
Let's see, I guess we should all look real fast. Any statuses that were minor or kind of basic? I know like some of you had disguised and all that. I don't think that would still play in. So I guess we'll start with you, Eric. What statuses do you have on your sheet right now so we can just make sure they're all accurate?
Yeah. I've got paranoid.
Okay.
I have a
Because of the
bucket of golden
library.
waste. Yeah.
Mhm.
And mental strain. I'm not really sure where that came from. I don't remember.
That was from Blanche's crazy dream that you got pulled into.
Oh, that good time. That was
Yeah.
Yeah.
That time where I
It's
died
been
in a
a
dream.
day. I think that one you can go ahead and remove. That was more of a headache, that kind of mental strain from just all that. Paranoid, I don't know. I think you didn't really get an answer because you had asked Blanche to
Right.
see, and all she said is you walked out on your own accord. So I think that
Yeah.
might still be there a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that works. So yeah, let's go ahead and just investigate this book.
All right. Yep. Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't have any way to help, so.
Okay. So yeah, on that you get 2 questions. So you're looking for any booby traps. There is a mention that he has a burn box, a safe that's set up that basically if there's a wire that releases if the piano's played the right way, if the organ's played the right way, but if not, like if force is used or someone happens to get through the latch some other way, it triggers this burn box, which is just a safe that will burn everything inside.
Oh, fun.
All right. So we better make sure we do it right.
We know the notes. Do we know the song?
It's just 3 notes, 3 chords to play. It's not a full song.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it kind of has the way he built it. It's all about the air that flows through the pipes of the organ. He has like these little pressure plates that when the chords are played in sequential order, it will hit those plates at just the right way to kind of release the latch and release that trap. But yeah, it has the exact location again. It's on the far edge of the western slums, on the southern kind of western slide, so not towards the Emerald Lake, but kind of south of that. Let me actually just drag you over to our city map here.
City map. Not a map. No. We'll get there.
So yeah, it's kind of down in this area. So it's towards kind of the forest that goes off down to the south and south of the Emerald Lake. But it's in a small little residential, area, kind of on its own.
Cool. What? Oh, I don't want that. No. What have I done?
What?
Okay.
What?
I just opened the wrong window.
Are there any notes about where the location is? Like any peculiar notes about like the people in the area or anything like that?
No, I mean, it seems looking through these that most of these safe houses were very specific to kind of just blend in. So the church is used. It actually has the name of the pastor there. His name is Father Percival Frid. It's probably a Catholic congregation, something like that. And yeah, they hold service on Sunday. They have a kind of morning-ish availability to come in for prayer time. It does note that the church is locked up at night. No one is able to come in there after about 6 p.m. to about 6 a.m. It's locked up tight.
Safety.
And then, probably basic notes of a mixed group of congregation, maybe of 30 members. It's a very kind of small church.
Where was that board with all of our combined notes?
Oh, yeah.
Do we have that?
Absolutely. That is over here.
Hey, look at that. And it even has a map. Okay. So, where are we going to stick these, folks? How do I write again? This one.
So I guess let's look at what you have here. The body in the well, you kind of have that case resolved. You know who it was. You kind of know what happened. You know that he was killed and tossed in there. So some of the notes there could probably be removed. There might be some things in there that you want to keep. The Golden Oasis stuff, maybe as a side note, you want to keep that in there. The Creepy Priest, those are good.
So we could probably remove this card. What else we got here? There's probably a few things we could remove here.
How about we do a string from Alman to like the one below it or something? That's who we're trying to find, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
so that's the keeper.
So yeah, can we get a... How do you
Just
do
toss a
fancy
couple.
strings?
That's just
Whoa.
a line.
It's just a line, huh?
Just
Oh,
a
I can
line.
draw a shape.
Or freehand.
Freehand.
With the mouse?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
And we
totally.
just do this and put it to front. And this we just make thin. There you go. There's your string.
Hey. It's a terrible
Ooh.
string. I would never use that for any kind of clothing. It's a bit gauche. It's okay. And then text. Here. What is it? It's a church in West Slums, pastor, yada yada.
Yeah. Let's see.
Father Percival Fred.
Text. Yeah, it's called the Whitechapel. So that's the name of the church. I know.
Well, no, don't. I haven't spelled things in a while. It's okay. Oh Jesus. Whoop. Okay. No. Fuck. Oh gosh. Yeah, don't mind me. No, that's the whole card. Jesus.
We gotta
You know what?
figure out how to, make the roll 20 work for us again.
Yeah, somebody else do this. I just keep picking up the card.
Do not ask me.
All right. What else do you want in here?
I don't know. That's all the notes I have. There's the organ thing. The secret organ. Why don't we just use his secret lair?
There you go.
I mean, he's clearly not using it. Well, he might be. I don't know. We should see if he's using it. If he's not using it, we should
Alright,
use
well-
his secret lair.
We'll find him and ask.
Is that how you spell chapel? Doesn't seem right, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna go with it.
You got it.
Chapelle.
Chapelle. Chapelle Chahat.
It's a French term.
It means building. Mi casa. It means front door. I don't know, what other information do we have, folks?
I guess not much right now.
Oh, we got all that.
Wow. Yep.
Stilt's being a champ and just giving us the information that he already told us.
We could. I could recap, but sometimes it's just easier to say, "Don't worry, your characters know this, while you as players may not. This is what they know."
If we
Right.
don't know it, Frederic knows it. It's okay.
Exactly.
We do now.
See, that's why I
We
introduced
have a
Frederic.
servant for that.
Somebody to keep track of notes. Frederic, write this down. So we'd have to go there. We'd have to go there and talk to the father and see about going up there, because we're not going to break into a church. I've already made that mistake once.
Didn't break.
Yeah, we can go snoop around.
All right.
We just can't stay in the church.
What do you mean we can't stay in the church? It's open from 6 to 6. It even has a soup kitchen.
Well, you were saying that we broke into a church. We didn't break in. We just stayed in it too long.
No, I mean, we kicked down the door, I'm pretty sure.
Details are fuzzy.
I don't know. I was arrested. It broke out. It doesn't matter.
He was pretty beat up, so he didn't do any kicking of a door.
I did.
So I'd
Anyways.
say it's probably mid-afternoon on a Monday, sunny day outside. We're probably saying 70s. Pretty nice. Definitely some clouds over there on the horizon. Maybe some late evenings, rain, all that. But for the most part, everything's pretty decent. So you all get on transportation, maybe get an omnibus or something like that to travel together and begin to make your way towards the west slums, kind of following the southern route of the city. You go through the kind of old quarter, travel through there. The bump of the cobblestones just reminds you of home, Mike, of course. And eventually you get close to the edge of the old quarter where the slums are, and it's strange because there's just fog over this part. It's definitely possible it could be coming from the lake that's past there. You can't see far enough to know if maybe just the warm temperatures are creating fog. But you do see that it's no longer just a wagon and a few constables. They have built up a wall with sandbags and wood, and there are now 4 constables standing and basically watching with shotguns in their hands, blocking this road.
That was quick. We were just here yesterday.
The driver kind of stops a few blocks back in front of, probably a coffee shop or something that's there, just so you guys have a chance to get out and appear to be general public, just doing your thing. But that's what you can see from this direction. And based on what she said, chances are any of the normal routes in here, even going from the north and coming down from the foreign district where Eric lives, chances are that's going to have the same kind of blockade at it. One thing that does stand out, though, is yesterday when you were here, it sounded like a war zone. Gunfire, screams, agony. Today it's quiet. You don't hear the sounds of warfare.
I did it.
I mean, that could either be really good or it could be really bad.
I choose to believe it's good. I did it.
I guess we've got one way to find out.
Throw Mike over the fence. Got it.
What have you guys been doing?
Look, you were taking care of a donkey. I was taking care of some kind of, I don't know what, shamblers. It's all terrible. Whatever happened in there is bad.
So we're gonna want to avoid the police line.
Can we not just walk through? Would she not just give us permission to go through, and then would they be like,
I think
okay.
she sort of specifically asked that we don't make much of an impression. People try to keep it cool. Try to keep it on the DL.
That's no fun.
There are sewers. I wonder if they have the sewer lines blocked. I mean, we've been down them several times now, so we might have an idea how to get through from one area of the district to the other.
If I keep coming home smelling like waste, I'm not going to have a home to go back to.
You get used to it.
Yeah, that right there is why you live alone, friend.
The other option is to kind of go a little bit outside of the city, kind of travel through the forest. It's not easy to get, vehicles through it, but you could certainly walk around that way. Eric, you would be familiar kind of with the more eastern part. That's where you ran away from that crazy stone beast.
Yes.
But definitely around here, especially going towards the south, it starts to turn into some pretty thick forest. But right next to the city, it's not too bad. It's just going to take a little while to get there. And who knows what's in the forest itself. But as far as the sewers, that could be an option. But you would recall, having been down there, there's a lot of blockades within it, just from it collapsing on itself and tunnels just not being suitable, and especially with the lake being there, it's kind of caused the dirt to be a bit more soft, so things are starting to collapse a bit more often.
So either we go in and then the tunnels collapse on us, or we go through the forest with the monsters.
Right. I vote we stay above ground.
Okay. Also, if I am not like super mistaken, when Blanche had her vision, the dude who turned into the monster that we found in the well went running off in a certain direction towards these woods. I don't know. Maybe we'll find something along the way.
So she would have recalled him running west from the ethnic borough, kind of in a this-early direction.
Ah, so that doesn't really take us. Well, I mean, it could kind of take us a long way around if we pull a curve, but.
So which side are we coming at these from?
So you would have been coming this way through the old burrows.
So we're gonna go. Oh God, why does it keep taking away my measuring tool?
The church is down in this area.
So we would have to go out here and then in. Oh, that's a bit of a walk.
I'm up for it if you are.
Should the church be closed by the time we get there?
Well, there's also, I mean, again, right now, as far as you know, the blockades are only on the main entrances into the city. So it's hard to tell what might be available, from once you get past that blockade, how far in you might be able to skirt back in.
True. I say we use the woods for cover until we find an easier route through. And if worse comes to worse, we could dip back into the woods for cover. Since we're right on There are so many arrows jiggling. What is going on here?
It's an arrow party.
Well, we just come through here along the wall, and then we do these, and then we come in here.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll snake our way through.
I can't do like a squiggly line, otherwise I would. I'd be like, woo, and then I'd do a loop-de-loop and a couple, and then in here, yeah. I mean, I could freehand, but I don't think Stilts want me drawn on his map.
I mean, it's all your maps, not just mine. So yeah, you start. You get off the omnibus. You pay him a couple pence to get him on his way. Make sure to avoid being spotted by the constables and kind of step outside of the old burrows where the first couple the tree line sits. Kind of duck behind some trees and take a moment to breathe in. It smells so good in this forest.
No.
It very, very like you've just made your way into deep woods, mountains, that fresh kind of pine, a bit of moss, just clean oxygen, not burdened down by just the dust of the city, the stank of the pit, just the general mugginess.
I can smell for miles.
Yeah, the trees aren't extremely dense in this area, so you're probably able to see a good 200 yards. There's definitely enough that you can use the trees as leverage to kind of skirt around and not have too many issues being spotted. So yeah, you kind of just step off. After a little while, you see that the wall that is probably handmade, kind of behind some of these houses and tenements and buildings of the western slums becomes a bit smaller, a bit shorter. You continue to see the backs of these 5 or 6 story tall tenement buildings. And as you continue to move down this southern part of the slums, you still listen out just for anything. A sign of life, maybe. And it's just quiet. You don't hear the sound of a crying baby, the sound of dogs barking, of screams or laughter of children, or anything you would expect to be in the city. You just hear the sound of wind just breezing through.
The sound of silence. I don't like it.
After walking for about 30 minutes, you see that there's actually a bit of a clearing, and there appears to be another road that heads off in this direction. And you're still, I would say, about 200 yards away from it, but you do see that there are some constables posted on this road as well. So you can see that they're standing there again. 4 young men, 2 of them big old beards. One of them has his cap off, and he's, rested it on top of some sandbags, kind of wiping his head because he's too warm. They all have shotguns, holding them. They seem to be a bit more relaxed, not expecting anyone to be this way. What would you guys like to do?
They're looking out and not back, right?
Yeah, right now they're basically just looking in this direction. They're not scanning the woods. They don't expect anyone, They're basically, just in case anyone comes from the village that's over here, making sure that they have this road kind of blockaded.
Well, we just walk in. You don't have to draw attention to ourselves. We just...
Yep. No. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let's just keep on going and skirt them as much as we can so that they don't stand a chance of accidentally seeing us or hearing us.
Okay. So do you just take more time to go deeper in the woods, or are you trying to be fairly quick about it?
What time of day is it?
By this point, let's say it's about 3:30. It's still mid-afternoon. Probably have another 4 hours before sunset.
And how long do we think it's going to take us to get in there if we go the longer way?
It's taken you about 30 minutes to go a couple miles. You've been moving pretty quick. So you could guess going a bit deeper in the woods, you might get there around 5:30-ish. About, if you go the direct route, you know you're going to get there probably closer to within an hour, 4:30. It all depends, there is the chance, depending if the woods get deeper, it would be a risk taking the long way if you're trying to get there before 6 o'clock, just because you're not sure how deep the woods go. But it'd also be a risk to try to cross over the road without being spotted. So I guess it depends on the type of risk you're wanting to take here.
I mean, if we just get there after dark, we can... I know you haven't had great experiences in the past, but we could just sort of kind of break into the church and have a look-see. I mean, yeah. I'm a little bit... I'd like to imagine I'm a little bit more subtle about that than perhaps you guys might be. But...
What are you talking about?
Sure, you go ahead and smash windows, champ. That's okay.
So, alternatively, is there any way we could sneak past him without having to cross the road? Or are we already at that point?
Actually.
So, you could try to sneak behind them into the city itself and just hope that there's, no patrols or anything like that in the city. Because, yeah, right now all of their attention is facing forward. So if you were to kind of loop back behind them, maybe get into the city a little bit, you might be able to get past them.
Can't we just throw rocks down the road and have them go investigate? And then walk in?
True, that would be another option.
It works in video game logic. Will always work here. Actually, though, Georgie, can't you talk to plants? Do you think you could, kind of clear us a path where we're still covered, but still can move quickly?
Yeah, scream at the trees. See what that does.
Is it pretty distinct with where the town is and the woods, or is it kind of like a mesh of it where there's a lot of overgrown shrubbery, that sort of thing?
Where they're at, it's definitely thinned forestry. So there's trees. There's probably some bushes. It's a very European forest. So not a ton of pines, but there's definitely a mixture.
All right. Everyone get in a shrub. Here we go.
Okay. Weird thing to say, but all right.
All right. Honestly, I would probably have just let us do the route with the thickest shrubbery, and I would thicken them so that it just gives us cover. But here's hoping nobody's behind them. in town, that is.
Can I?
So,
This is a weird question. Can I smell anybody?
I guess what are you trying
Roll.
to smell it
Roll.
exactly?
Roll.
You definitely smell.
Well,
Mike is a
I
very
push
strong
I
scent.
push Mike away and then try to I kind of walk a bit closer and see if I can just detect anybody.
Okay,
Like
so
anybody inside the.
let's start with that then. Sounds like you're investigating. You're using your nose to investigate. You still have the well-fed status, I believe, from
Yes.
your meal. So I'm gonna say that's fine, but this might be the last use of it. That was from that deer, which was a couple nights ago, or I think at least 2 nights ago. So it might be starting to fade.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yep.
you can definitely add that to it. As you just kind of take a deep inhale just to see.
Let's see what else we got in here. Nothing really. Yeah, nothing really but the well-fed tag. That's probably about it. So we're just gonna do +1. Investigate. Hey.
Okay. So you take a deep breath and you're actually surprised. You smell quite a few people. What are you able to tell from their smell? Is it, I know what it is. You can smell dogs, cats, people. Can you smell age? Like what exactly?
I
to
assume
smell?
people and animals smell different, and I assume, the cops are probably cleaners, so probably aftershave or, something.
Okay.
Just kind of whatever kind of carries on the wind.
Yeah, no, you definitely, you smell the stink of unwashed flesh. Very, very kind of what you would assume from the slums. And you actually, it's not an aftershave you get, but it's the cleaner that they use for their uniforms. Almost like it's not a bleach, but it definitely has a chemical scent that you get from the constables, and you try to direct your scent. You don't smell anything except from the 4 individuals in front of you in regards to that. But the other sense you're getting kind of gives you the idea that there are still quite a few people that are in those buildings within the district fairly nearby. They're just being quiet.
All right. Well, I will relay this information the best I can. It's kind of weird to say, but I don't smell any cops. Just people scared. They're all huddled together.
All right.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird, yeah.
Give me 1 second, guys. I just need to
Yep.
go handle something, so I'll be right back.